This is why it is so important to be very, very clear. It is why we said to Garrett, as all things follow your commands, there will be, and there have been beings who've simply snatched humans. It's not a good thing. It's an old thing, a very old thing. And sometimes the skies are policed to protect things. We await the times in which you know more. You will be more fun, more interesting, and you will comprehend more. And perhaps it will be easier to explain things to you when you have gained some life experience in the cosmos. We guarantee that over the next 5 years, all of your experiences of a cosmic nature will really enormously expand. Don't be foolish. Be very clear about the kind of encounters and understandings you are available for. Who else? Question.
Yes, Monica here.
Monica.
I'm looking for a deeper understanding of the whole relationship between a fourth dimensional reality on Earth and this whole concept of past, present, and future being simultaneous.
What did you say?
Past, present, and future sort of being, I don't know, simultaneous or happening all at once.
Then here's some homework for you. Read Jane Roberts' book, The Education of Oversoul 7. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
Put that down and read that this summer. And anyone that wants a little bit of a greater understanding of past, present, future, simultaneous time, it is a brilliant book that was written again by Jane Roberts, author of Seth Material. We believe she wrote it in the late 60s, early 70s, something like this. It's very entertaining, and it will really help you think and help you picture in a story how this might work. All right? Who else has a question?
The title again, please?
The Education
The Oversoul
of Oversoul 7. The Education of Oversoul 7.
Okay.
What?
P, this is John Paul.
John Paul?
I have a question about when will we be seeing lots of ships flying across the sky? We are idle.
Someone asked this question last night. It is a foolish question.
Oh.
How can we give you a date? Do you want us to say the 4th of July? Do not please ask us these kind of things. We can't tell you when are you going to see lots of ships flying across the sky. There are people who are seeing them now. And there are ships that can fly right in front of you and you don't see them. So we can't tell you when you are going to see these things. When are you going to change your attitude about yourself? When are you going to change what you think you are? We don't know. We can encourage you and help you to implement these things, but we can't give you dates specifically. We are not oriented in that way. Besides, if we did, then you'd start nagging us for more dates. When is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? You give your power away by not thinking about how you phrase your questions. You could ask that question a lot of ways and get a different answer. Who else has a question? They're giving you a tough time because we don't want you to just absorb things and think we are going to tell you everything. When we give you a bit of feedback about how you ask a question, what we are doing is we want you to think about what you are saying and how you say it and what you mean by it. And is it important to know the date when you're going to see a lot of ships flying in the sky? How essential is that to your development? Question. Connie.
It's Connie, and I didn't understand how that could be when he's speaking out against them.
That is how the operation works. It is, you're a bit naive. And let's say it's been around for thousands of years. If a group of controllers knows that the riffraff is going to rebel rouse, then they send in their own rabble rouser to control the riffraff. And the rebel rouser acts as if it is against the controlling force, but it is really working for it. Can you wrap your head around that?
Oh, yes.
That happens all the time. Let's leave it at that. It's called infiltration. It is a big thing in war. It's a big thing in everything. And the New Age movement is full of infiltrators. The Patriot movement, the political movement, the Tea Party movement, any movement of people gets infiltrated by big mouths who really get out there and fight and fight and fight. But how much energy do they have, and how much vitality do they have? It's called a revelation of the method. They tell you everything that they are doing because they know that they believe there's nothing you can do about it. So let's leave it at that. Questions, please.
I have a question, Mrs.
Yes,
Lewis.
yes, Lewis.
I heard of some parapsychology research where they were trying to see if there's a time of day or this astronomical influence that increases psychic ability. And what seemed to work that was whenever the galactic center, almost 27 degrees of Sagittarius, is on the midheaven, that people would register 400% more psychic ability. What do you have to say about that?
Ooh, there's absolutely, this is a pretty good discovery on their part. If you think about the power of the galactic center, and you are saying over what kind of period? A day, 24 hours, as the moon rotates around the zodiac, when the galactic center comes to the top?
Yeah, in other words, every day, every 24 hours.
Every 24 hours.
Everything in the heavens rises in the east, gets as high up in the sky on the ecliptic as it's going to get, sets in the west, and so forth. So it's that sometime in a 24-hour cycle, the galactic center is going to be at the top of the chart, what astrologers call the midheaven. And it's at that time that they claim that people are much more psychic because they're picking up on that galactic center energy, which is right overhead or as high in the heavens as anything on the ecliptic gets.
And so what does this imply about 2012?
Mm-hmm.
And remember we said to Lewis that this galactic center-sun alignment is a long-term happening. The sun moves on the progressional scale 1 degree every 72 years.
Right.
So in large terms, you could say that you are getting some big galactic beams over a few hundred years. And many people have speculated that the changing from one age to another does not have a date. It has a long orb transition period. And of course, in your terms, to be aligned with the galactic center would be a long-term process to build up psychic power in humanity. The alignment in 2012 is sort of pointing to a peak experience, a peak event. And then you will float on that peak event and do something with it for a long time afterwards. So that's a good thing to point out. You know, human beings are getting smarter in figuring out the influence of cycles. Cyclical influences are absolutely a core key of understanding time, understanding multidimensionality, understanding your soul, your incarnational patterns. Because even the times you choose to incarnate, you have your own personal cycles that you ride. And you must qualify for the time of your birth. It must meet your needs, and you must meet the energy, because there are definitely more auspicious birth times than others. The planets can be very beneficial and very benevolent, or sometimes a person can really come in and it's just a challenging life. And yet it fits for each and every one of you. So it would be good, Lewis, if someone could set up a little study to find out how that event occurs and when it is on the midheaven each day as it would move, and for people to start paying attention. But even knowing this, you can start paying attention to these particular times. The moon is going to be on the galactic center at a certain time for a few hours once every moon cycle.